I will always see a town that I have loved so well, where the school played ball by the gas yard wall, and we laughed through the smoke and the snow. Going home in the rain, running up the dark lane, past the jail, down behind the
most of us will remember this premises here as Katie Hunt's shop. And I suppose for many of us it'll always be known as Katie Hunt's shop, because this is where we used to get the broken biscuits, because they were cheaper than the ones that weren't broken. But so that's something that, and if anybody doesn't know what that's about, well, there's a little bit about it in the book, so you'll have to wait to read it. So we choose the period for this book, we choose the period 1930 to 1969, 1970 for a particular reason. So I grew up in the 1950s here, having been born in the late 40s. Now it's the very late 40s. It was actually 49, but it was also very late in 49, so just about made it into the 40s. You know. So the two lads, Christy and Patsy, were just a little bit later than that, but not too much later.
Would be.
No.
A lot.
First and foremost, I want to thank Patsy and Christy for the work they've contributed to getting this project over the line. It's been a great pleasure and a privilege for us to work together on this project. And we didn't fall out. Well, not yet anyway, but there's always time, I suppose. So we're very pleased with the outcome. So with that, we have a gentleman who is going to officially launch the book for us. A well-known Lusk man. He's also featured in the Over 80s. Sorry about that. But a man who has been known to do some fine writing himself. And he's just one little thing I want to say about this man as well, just what I think of it. When I was, I don't live in Lusk right now, but when I was here back in the early 70s, I was playing football for Round Towers, and this man was playing as well. And it used to have the 7-a-side matches, and I didn't play many 7-a-sides, but I remember playing one, and this man was playing as well. But he was absolutely 7-a-side football game is completely different than playing the full team game because it's much faster. But I swear to God, I didn't get a look at the game, at the ball that day. I'm fairly certain, because this man played the whole game himself. So, because he was like a greyhound running up and down the pitch everywhere. So he's a proud Product man, a proud Lusk man. So I want you to welcome Jim Finnegan.
Thank you very much, Dermot. He wanted to charge me for saying that. My name is Jim Finnegan. I was born in 1940 in Turdup, the youngest of 11 children. Now, when I first heard that the brothers were writing this book, I was delighted, but I never thought I'd be here to help launch it. But I am honoured to do so on behalf of the octogenarians in the party. What does Lusk mean to me? It means everything to me. Simply, it means everything. It's where I was born, where I grew up, where I went to school, where I played hurling, football, billiards, where I worked, where I lived, where I reared my family, as did my father, grandfather, and his father before. And it's where my remains will be buried when I'm gone. Now, I read this book, and I'm absolutely amazed at the amount of information that's available, all in one package. Because when you go back to when I was very young, books were available on the history of the whole area of Dublin, of Ireland. But there wasn't a book that told you everything about your own little parish. And this is what that book brings to everyone here. Now, It's a great asset, but it will be more of an asset for the people who come after us. We can go back to there, but our children and our children's children, they will now have a book that they can take in their hand and see pictures, see the houses, see the places, all in one go. It's an absolute must. As Dermot said, Lusk in the 30s and 60s was a different place. It was, times were hard, big families, poor housing, little employment, mostly seasonal work. Emigration was rife, but the people helped each other. And I believe one of our great assets in this parish has been our ability to rally to the cause. Friends in need, being friends indeed. And in this respect, I speak from experience. There was always a great sense of community in Lusk, with various clubs, like the Down Towers football and hurling, the Black Raven Pipe Band, all featuring in our past history. But life improved as time went by, with better housing conditions, the introduction of electricity, running water, sewage, and social welfare systems. Some of our immigrants came home and set up businesses and created employment in the area. Dublin Airport, factories in Briggan, Skerries and Sowers, providing further employment opportunities. Now, when I read the book and see the work that was put into it, the professional way it was presented, and the orderly way it was laid out in 4 parts, the stories, the townlands, the faces and the places. This is the kind of a book that has everything in one package. And really, when you get to my age, sometimes the senior moments can last a little longer. Sorry about that. This book to the people of Lusk and those who have made Lusk their home is a must-have. It's our story, it's our history, it's our heritage, and it should be in every house in the parish. It's a must-have to send to relatives and friends all over the world. What an opportunity now for Christmas presents. This could even be included in your will. It's a financial a valuable asset. Many of the faces you have seen pass on. May they rest in peace. But thanks to the Russell brothers, Dermot, Patsy and Christy, their stories are recorded for posterity. People of Lusk, you owe this book to your children.
So in Lusk School, there was an average of about 20 pupils enrolling annually. Every year about 20 pupils, 10 boys and 10 girls in the Lusk Village School. In Carduff School, the other school in the parish, there was approximately 10 pupils enrolling annually. And in Hedgestown, there was a little bit less than that, maybe somewhere between 6 and 8 enrolling annually. So for the 50-year period, now just listen to this now for a second. For the 50-year period leading up to 1969, 1920 to 1969, the total number of pupils registered in all 3 Lusk schools was 1,758. 1,758, okay? An average of about 35 pupils registering in all 3 schools throughout that 50-year period, 1,758. In 2023, or in 1 year, 2023, the total number of pupils registered in those schools, all 4 schools, because now in 4 schools, was almost 1,500 in 1 year. It took 50 years to register 1,700, and now 1,500 have been registered in 1 year. Now, if that's not change, I don't know what is. Nobody's in a rush home now, so I'm going to want you to welcome Mayor of Fingal, Mr. Adrian Henry.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dermot, and thank you very much, Jim, and unbelievable turnout here today for this fantastic event for the launch of this book there. So it's a great honour for me. I was just thinking coming in there, the traffic was quite heavy. I was saying there's obviously roadworks or delays, and then as I got nearer the venue, I was seeing that the traffic was emanating from here. So I was saying, my goodness, what a fantastic turnout, and that's exactly what has come to pass. So can't go by without mentioning, of course, an historic event in Lusk this morning, I believe, with Lusk, the Round Towers beating Fingalians to gain promotion to Division 1 of the Dublin Football League, which is just an absolutely extraordinary achievement for the club. So to think next year in Dublin GA you'll be welcoming the heavyweights of Dublin football to the proud small village of Lusk, and that's an unbelievable achievement, and I suppose it's probably even sweeter when you do it and you take out the big town rival in Fingalians and Swords to win that game. So congratulations to everybody in Round Towers and Lusk. Yeah, and of course it goes without saying when you arrive at an event in Lusk, and I've been at quite a few since I've had the honour of being elected mayor, and that's great to see, including the turning on of the lights obviously, but no matter what, when you go to an event in Lusk, there's always a piper to welcome you, and that really shows the great tradition there. So just to very much acknowledge the piper who helped me in as I came into the building today there. It's a great tradition to see, and long may it continue. So it's a great privilege for me as mayor, I think, all to be present and to acknowledge the publication of Lusk Faces and Places. Similar to many towns and villages throughout the country, Lusk was an immensely different place during the years 1930s through to the 1960s. It is hugely important that the past is not forgotten, and this book, tremendously written with the images that it includes, is particularly significant in that regard. By documenting and recording the faces and places of Lusk during this period in question, the authors Dermot, Patsy and Christy ensure that the current and future populations will have some understanding and appreciation of the kind of village and town that Lusk was, where their parents, grandparents and even their great-grandparents lived. Not only that, the content of this book reminds us all of the places from this period of time, and many of those places that still exist, but perhaps we pay little attention to today, because they have always been there, the places that still do exist, and places that many people today may know very little about, and places that those of us that do know but may have forgotten. The contents of this book will jog their memory, get them talking again, and pass on their memories to others. This is the power that this publication will have, and it will ensure that this period of time is not forgotten. I was delighted to see that Jim Finnegan come up here to help in the launch of the book and played a great role in it there. And Jim is somebody who I would have grown up knowing very well from his time as working as a nurse in St. Edith's in Portrand, where I grew up in Portrand there. And my own late mum, who was a nurse, would have worked a lot with Jim. So not kind of having met him as a child growing up, but just having heard his name in conversation, he was somebody I felt I grew up knowing as a highly respected man from the village of Lusk, who was exceptionally kind and decent and caring towards the patients in St. Edith's and Portrand there. So delighted to see Jim today helping with the launch, so I just wanted to acknowledge that. In our historical endeavours, we often tend to focus on historical events from centuries past. What we were looking at here, however, is the more recent past, from 50 to 90 years ago. 50 to 90 years ago was a long time ago for most of us, but for some of us, it's not so long ago. Thankfully, there are many people still around that have very vivid memories of growing up and living in Lusk during the 1930s through to the late 1960s. There is no other publication that I'm aware of that records and documents this period of time in Lusk, quite to the extent that this marvellous book does. This book will ensure that Lusk's more recent past will not be forgotten, because it will always be contained within the covers of this book. 50 years and more from now, future inhabitants of Lusk, along with those who have travelled further afield by then, will be able to pick this up, look at the faces and places and the many stories, and see what it was like back then. Just when we were preparing for today, like when you think of the nicknames that would have been almost household names from the past in Lusk, like the milkman, the bread man, the rent man, the insurance man, the fish man, the road man, the wireless man. Some of us have never even heard of these people. We don't have occupations like this anymore. What do they do? Who are they? What is a wireless? What in heaven's name is a wireless? I'm sure young people are probably asking. The coming of electricity to Lusk, the first televisions in the village, pitch and toss, the croc race, who remembers all of that? The memories and the answers are all contained within this wonderful book. At this point, I want to acknowledge the endeavours of the authors and to congratulate them on bringing this significant and important book to fruition there. I see it's selling fairly well over here on my right-hand side, and that's very, very great to see. So I'm sure it's going to go down as a certainly, at the very least, a coffee table book within every house and surrounding house in the village and hinterland of Lusk. So delighted to be invited along here today, and congratulations to everyone involved. Go ahead, Mila Monaco.
And don't feel any need to rush off if you want to chat, because we don't often get this opportunity, I suppose, for people to meet and have a chat. So just take a little bit of time if you wish to do that. And if we haven't already met you, by all means, we'd love to meet you before you go away. So thanks again. That brings us to the end of the formalities as such. So we'll leave it to yourselves. Thank you.
I can only pray for a bright, brand new day in the town